Iran has a secret uranium enrichment facility buried underground. The UN has never been inside it. 440 kilograms of uranium, enriched to 60%. Enough, if upgraded, for 10 nuclear bombs. The inspectors were on their way last June. Then the bombs started falling. Nobody knows what's happening underground right now. This is the most dangerous facility in the world, and the world is flying blind. As Israeli airstrikes targeted Iran's South Pars gas field on March 18th, a separate and deeply unsettling dimension of the conflict came into sharper focus. Iran's nuclear program, its hidden facilities, and a UN watchdog left with more questions than answers. The International Atomic Energy Agency's Director General, Rafael Grossi, confirmed what many had long feared. Iran has a new uranium enrichment facility buried underground at its nuclear complex in Isfahan, and the IAEA has never been inside it.
It is underground, but we haven't visited it yet.
The Isfahan site would become Iran's fourth known uranium enrichment plant, should it become operational. Grossi, who was in Washington for a conference and for talks with Trump administration officials, said inspectors had been on their way to inspect the facility last June, but they had to cancel the visit when the nuclear complex there was struck at the beginning of the 12-day war with Israel. The result is a critical intelligence gap at one of the most sensitive moments in the Middle East conflict. The agency does not know whether the site is simply an empty hall, or whether it hosts concrete pads awaiting the installation of centrifuges, or whether some centrifuges have already been installed.
There are many questions that we will only elucidate when we are able to go back.
The stakes of that uncertainty are enormous. Iran currently holds approximately 440 kilograms of uranium, enriched to 60% purity. This stockpile could be brought to 90% weapons grade through a successful enrichment sprint, which would be sufficient material for roughly 10 nuclear weapons.
The widespread assumption is that the material is still there. We haven't seen, nor I think, has anyone observing via satellite, movement indicating that the material could have been transferred.
Grossi has said the IAEA believes more than 200 kilograms of that 60% enriched uranium is stored at Isfahan's underground tunnel complex, with the widespread assumption being that the material remains there undisturbed. Grossi did not limit his concerns to Isfahan. The entrances to the Natanz enrichment plant, already bombed in last year's US-Israeli strikes, were struck again during the current military campaign, the IAEA confirmed earlier in March. The IAEA chief was unambiguous about where this must lead, even as hostilities rage.
We have to try to establish or re-establish a framework for negotiation.
Grossi added that even when military operations end, IAEA inspectors will still face a number of unresolved issues requiring a solution. The situation reflects a wider strategic paradox. Military pressure has damaged Iran's declared nuclear sites, but the fate of its enriched uranium stockpile and the status of new facilities buried deep beneath Iranian soil remains stubbornly unknown. A dangerous escalation is unfolding in the Middle East, where nuclear facilities are now in the line of fire, and the risks are no longer just military, but potentially catastrophic. Iran has reportedly targeted Israel's Dimona and Negev nuclear research facilities in what appears to be a retaliatory move following an earlier strike near Iran's Bushehr nuclear power plant. The developments mark a significant escalation, with nuclear-linked sites now directly drawn into the conflict. According to Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, a projectile struck the grounds of the Bushehr nuclear facility at approximately 7 p.m. local time on March 17th. Authorities stated that the incident caused no financial, technical, or human damage. The International Atomic Energy Agency, the United Nations nuclear watchdog, confirmed it had received a report from Iran regarding the incident. In a carefully worded statement, the agency said a projectile had hit the premises of the Bushehr nuclear power plant on Tuesday evening, but no damage to the facility or injuries to staff were reported. Meanwhile, IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi reiterated calls for maximum restraint amid the ongoing conflict, warning of the potential risks associated with military activity near nuclear installations. Russia's foreign ministry condemned the strike near Iran's Bushehr nuclear power plant and called on the US and Israel to stop attacking the Islamic Republic's nuclear facilities.
We strongly condemn the irresponsible and completely unacceptable missile attack launched against the inner perimeter of the Bushehr nuclear power plant, just meters from an operating energy unit. We have repeatedly warned Israel and the United States, which continue their aggressive military campaign against the Islamic Republic of Iran, of the categorical unacceptability of threatening the lives and health of the numerous Russian citizens remaining at the site who are part of the nuclear power plant's workforce. Tel Aviv and Washington must refrain from reckless attacks on nuclear infrastructure facilities, which pose a real risk of a radiological and environmental catastrophe throughout the region.
The Bushehr facility, located along the Persian Gulf coast, is Iran's only operational nuclear power plant. It is staffed in part by personnel from Russia's state nuclear agency, Rosatom, which has been involved in constructing additional reactors at the site. Russia strongly condemned the strike, with Rosatom CEO Alexei Likachov saying,
"It is a flagrant disregard for key rules and principles of international security."
While radiation levels at the site remain stable and no Russian personnel were harmed, the agency has begun evacuating staff as a precautionary measure. Construction work on 2 additional reactors has also been suspended. Reports indicate that several hundred Russian specialists remain at the facility, with further evacuation efforts underway as hostilities continue. The United States military's Central Command, which oversees operations in the region, has not yet responded to the development. Strikes on nuclear facilities are widely regarded as violations of international norms due to the severe risks they pose. Any damage leading to radioactive contamination could have far-reaching consequences, particularly for neighboring countries, including Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, and Oman, as well as the wider Persian Gulf region. The broader conflict continues to intensify. Iran has launched missile and drone attacks against United States and Israeli assets across the region, while also moving to effectively close the Strait of Hormuz, a critical global energy corridor. The disruption has already triggered a surge in international oil and gas prices. Russia, which has strengthened its strategic and economic ties with Iran in recent years, has previously condemned US and Israeli strikes on Iranian territory, describing them as acts of aggression. The ongoing conflict between the United States, Israel, and Iran is raising fresh concerns about Tehran's nuclear ambitions, with analysts warning that the country's new leadership could take a far more aggressive approach than before. At the center of these concerns is Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, who assumed power following the killing of his father, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, in US-Israeli strikes that triggered the current war. Observers say the leadership transition, combined with escalating hostilities, could reshape Iran's long-standing nuclear strategy. Raz Zimt, head of the Iran program at the Institute for National Security Studies, believes Mojtaba Khamenei may be more willing to take risks compared to his predecessor, who was often seen as cautious in matters of strategic escalation.
The only good thing which one could say about Ali Khamenei was that he was usually very cautious. He didn't take very risky decisions. And I think that the new leadership under Mojtaba might be willing to take more risks.
Reports suggest Iran still possesses hundreds of kilograms of uranium enriched to 60% purity, a level that can be further refined to weapons-grade material.
If Iran, after the war, will be able to still use the fissile material which is still left in Iran, there is 450 or 400 kilograms of enriched uranium to 60%. in order to enrich uranium to 90%, then convert that to uranium metal and break out, which is certainly a possibility. This is one of the things we could expect from Mojtaba. This would be a very negative development. I think this is the worst thing we could expect from him.
The warning comes as the war continues to expand across the region. More than 2 weeks after the United States and Israel launched strikes on Iran, the conflict has spread to multiple theaters, including Iraq and the Gulf. Iranian retaliation has included drone and rocket attacks targeting US and allied positions, including strikes on the American embassy in Baghdad. Despite repeated assertions by US President Donald Trump that the objective of the campaign is to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons, analysts warn that the conflict itself may push Tehran in the opposite direction. A more hardline leadership, coupled with heightened perceptions of existential threat, could accelerate internal debates over abandoning long-standing restrictions on nuclear weaponization. For decades, Iran has maintained that it does not seek nuclear weapons, often citing a religious decree issued by the late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. However, with a new supreme leader now in place, the future of that doctrine remains uncertain. Some experts argue that Iran's nuclear capability cannot be fully dismantled through military strikes alone. While infrastructure can be damaged, the scientific knowledge and technical expertise required to build a weapon remain intact.